Hello, hello, good morning. We are live. It is Friday morning. I have my coffee. Let's have a sip. This is still my first coffee. I have been running around all morning. So I am so happy to just be able to sit down and relax with you for a second and just get to do some fun chat time and goal setting. So I am happy. I'm super happy. I hope that you are all here with me. I hope you are all here ready to set some weekly goals, go over what we have been doing this past week, what we're going to do next week, make a plan to make it great and really accomplish everything that we set out to do. We're going to have some coffee. We might chat a little bit as we go along. So make sure to just pop anything in the chat and we can have a little conversation. Check in, have a little chit chat, have some tea if you don't have coffee. But first, the thing we're going to do is review and take an audit of how we performed on our goals last week. If you are part of the replay crew, which I know some of you are because you do not do your goal setting Friday morning, you might do it on Saturday or Sunday to really get you ready for the rest of the week. Don't worry, I will be putting some timestamps down in the description box so you can pop ahead if you would like. Also if you're watching this back, you can also pause and take a little bit more time on the exercises. We do move a little bit quickly during the actual live stream because we want to keep it moving. But if you are on the replay, you can always pause and watch it back later. So let's get down into it. But first, I'm Terrell, and this is Absolutely Studying. I bootstrapped my way through university while juggling a full-time job and a family. It was tough, but now I want to pay it forward. I want to supply you with all of the resources and support you need to flourish at your academic career. Today, we are doing this weekly goal setting live. Oh, don't look at my nails. I have not gone to do my nails yet. Today we're doing this weekly goal setting live. And if you follow me, you know I am here every single Friday live. We do a live monthly goal setting at the end of the month so that we know the big picture that we are working for and we can break it down so we have tasks to work on every day, every week, and we can keep working towards those goals. So grab last week's goals and let's do a quick one over and see how we did. So I love to set about 3 to 5 goals for the week. I don't like to do too many more than that because that is a lot. That is putting a lot of pressure on you. It's really packing your days and you can't always get what you're working towards done as well as all of your regular obligations. So if you have more than 3, really more than like 5, that's a lot. Try and break it down because if you are consistently not reaching your goals, it might just be that you're spreading yourself a little bit too thin. And trust me, I know all about that. So grab your goals. Let's see how you did. And finally, sit down and decide critically, how did you do? How many did you set? And was that too much? Maybe you only set 3 and that was still too much because they were just too big. Nobody is here to judge. This is an open and welcoming conversation. We are here to support and uplift each other. And so I don't want you to do that and by sacrificing, anxiety and burnout and stress. So once you have decided that, how many did you actually complete and how did you come close to it? So if you follow me regularly, we go through a whole goal setting process and we set SMART goals. So you should have the goal down super, super specific so you know exactly whether you completed it or did not. So for example, if you completed it by say you worked on a project and you completed that project. You know if you completed it or not. You know if you handed in that assignment or you published that post. You know if you completed it or not. And so you can tell if you reach that goal or not. If your goals aren't that specific and if they have some room for wiggle room, then make sure this week when you set your goals, you really set them a little bit more specifically. And what that is going to help with is it's going to help you actually take better action steps, make clearer progress because you are doing what you intend to do and not going back with the confirmation bias that you're living with today and thinking, I got close enough, I'm going to count it. If you didn't get close enough, that's okay. If you did not reach your goal, that's okay. We have an entire couple of steps and we're going to do some tweaks, and that is going to help you to reassess and refine your progress for next week. So that's what it all is about. It's about progress. It's about allowing yourself to fail so you can figure out how to do things better next time you want to proceed. And so now, in saying that, when you look at these goals and you decide, have you achieved them or not, where did you fall short? So, I totally forgot to mention that I actually created a little template for us to work with. There is a goal setting planner. So if you are doing this goal setting with me, make sure to pop down into the description. The goal setting planner is going to work through step by step by step. I need to start remembering. I am so sorry. I need to start remembering in the beginning. I have a goal setting planner that's going to take all of the template. It's a template so that you can follow along with this video specifically with our Friday sessions. So pop down there and pick up that planner so that you can definitely follow along a little bit better and you don't have to struggle. I totally forgot I did that. I kept saying that I was going to do it. And just now I was like, I need to get on that planner. But wait, I did it. We are professionals here. We are professionals. We are imperfect people, and that's okay. So, where did you fall short? And again, in the template that I did in fact make and upload and put in the description, in that in there is definitely a template that you can follow, and it will give you room to answer all of these questions every week. Okay, in that nice long aside that we did, make sure to please do all of the YouTubey things. So like this video and subscribe to my channel. I have a great big goal that I want to reach this year. And if you subscribe, that'll really help me out. Now for the coffee. Clearly, painting my nails was not a goal of mine this week. I didn't do it. I don't feel sorry. I will get to it. I am an imperfect person. Okay, so let's look back on last week's progress and our habits. So, and again, if you are on the replay crew, you can always pause here before we go on to the next section, print off that workbook and fill it in. So, progress and habits. What worked last week? What did you either that you have been doing for a long time, or what new habits did you implement that really, really worked well and that you might do again? What did you do? Did you write out your to-do list every morning? Did you have that 15-minute planning session with your coffee that I love in the morning? What did you do? Are there anything at all? Maybe it was that you didn't have caffeine in the morning, or maybe it was something simple like you went to bed on time. What did you do in this past week that really, really made you feel like you were crushing it and that you were making progress? And then I also want to know what didn't go so right, even if it was not anything that you did specifically. Even if it was not something that was your fault, even if it's just that, you had a leak in the basement, or that, something happened that completely threw all of your everything off track. If you have been following me for a while, I had a massive setback a couple of months ago. Well, I put setback in quotation marks, where I was working on my course launch, and I was set to launch my course for Black Friday. I wanted to launch it in November. And then my son broke his leg, and he's just a little guy. So because he broke it so far up, he was in a non-walking cast. Now we're in story time, because that's what the ADHD does to you. And you can keep filling out your workbook while I go into the story. So because he was in a non-walking cast, he couldn't go outside and play, and he could not go to daycare. So unfortunately, fortunately for me, I got to spend lots of time with him, but unfortunately for my goals, he was home for an entire month. So that cut my work day down to about 20 minutes, which is his nap time. He's not a sleeper. So unfortunately, I ended up having to push my launch back to March, because everything happened. My son broke his leg, so he was home through November and December. Then we had the holidays. Then we all caught COVID. So it was a lot. There was a lot that went on. And it felt to me like the faster I moved and the more I tried, just the further back all of my goals and priorities kept falling on my plate, because it was just so full. What I'm saying is, we all want to make this crazy progress. And I know that I do have some clients that I work with, and they think that I'm working 100% of the time and I do all of these things. And I do stay very busy, and I do wear a lot of hats. I have absolutely studying, and I have my consulting company, and I do wear all of these hats. But it's because of my organization. It's because of my goal setting. It's because I try and only work on one thing at a time, and I try and get in front of my work. And sometimes things happen, and when life implodes, it just implodes, and you just have to tread water and work with what you're working on. And sometimes it's not time to launch a product. Sometimes we have to push that way out, and that's what I did. And I'm okay with that. We see this whole aesthetic online of people who are getting all of these things done, but we don't see what's happening in the background. And sometimes what's going wrong is not something wrong with you. It's just life throwing some obstacles in your path. So that is why the next question that I ask you was it avoidable? If you ask yourself critically, was what went wrong? What were the obstacles in my path? Were they avoidable? Was it because I had low motivation? And if I had low motivation, why was that? Was it avoidable? Could I have done something better? Or is this just life handing me lemons? It's okay either way. This is the time to be honest with yourself, so that we can actually look critically at our progress and decide, are we trying to push too hard, and are we doing things halfway? And are we beating ourselves down for nothing? Or are we actually doing the best we can, and maybe we just need to readjust our strategy? So let's take a sip on that. So let's pause while we are in this reflection and decide, if you're in the template, what will we do again? What would you do again? So what worked? What would you do again? Maybe there were some habits that didn't work, but you will still do them again. Perfect example, a nice, luxurious, intense evening routine with lots of self-care. Yeah, it might take an hour away from productivity, but you are going to feel so good. You're going to feel so much more relaxed. You are going to actually help yourself feel more motivated, which can make the other hours that you are working or working on a project or studying or having to do things, get inspired or motivated to do things, it might make those hours more productive because you are taking care of yourself, because you are indulging in that self-care and you are taking the time to wind down and do some activities that you enjoy that might not necessarily be as productive as you think they should be. That's kind of investing in yourself. So, what would you do again? And then, what would you do differently? Maybe instead of spending an hour on self care, you spent an hour I don't know, doing something else, or that you pushed through an extra study session that you just didn't take in the information, or you were not using your time as efficiently as possible. What would you do differently? It can be one thing, it can be three things, it can maybe even be adjusting one of your setbacks that was actually avoidable. Or maybe it's just approaching something differently. It can be anything, just as long as there's something that you can try. Experimentation is often the key to success, and just experimenting over and over and over again with different things can really help you to expand and find new ways of doing things if they are more productive. So while you finish that up, I'm going to bring you a brief message from the sponsor, which is, in fact, my digital course that I just mentioned. I do have a study skills digital course for all of you academic or students in academia. It is an essential study skills course. So it goes through and it teaches you all of the study, organizational, note-taking, reading strategies that you need to really excel and get your study activities in order. One thing that I do get from my students over and over again is how they don't feel like their study time is really being used effectively, or they sit down and study and then they walk away and they don't remember anything. And so this is a work at your own pace online digital course that will really help you to put all of those things in perspective and help you to create a study strategy and a reading strategy that is just tailored to you so that you get the most efficient use out of your time. So I have a link in the description. I will pop down there as well for my Essential Study Skills digital course. And you can check out the first unit for free. It's a module all about getting organized and starting to plan your study time. So, like I said, head down there. First module, absolutely free. There are a couple of tiers. You can buy the course outright, or there is also a ongoing membership fee that expands the course monthly and has some membership awards and perks. There's a planner. There's a bunch of other perks. You can go check them out. Anyways, let's get back to the goals after we hydrate. Okay, so if you are still with me, hello, we are about to set next week's goals. So what are your top 3 goals for next week? Again, I don't like to do more than 5. Try and settle on just 3, because this is the thing. Here. Hear me out. If we set 3 goals instead of the 5 goals, right? You can really work on those 3 goals efficiently and crush them. And once you've finished those 3 goals, you're like, wow, look at me. Look at all this progress I made. So then you can just propel yourself into working on the next 2. Now, those next 2 are not required projects, but you are going to feel so good about yourself that you're going to give yourself permission to get a head start on these 2 goals for next week. And that's how motivation works, by seeing progress, by accomplishing your goals, by getting the rewards you set for your goals. We'll get to that later. And then you have all of this progress and motivation to show and like propel you into the next ones. So write down 3 goals. Let's write them down, get them down on paper. Why do we do that? Because we want to look at them every day. We want to look at them every day and remind ourselves what we are working on. I keep a little whiteboard on my desk. It's just a 8x10 photo frame of a whiteboard. Maybe one day I'll show you how to make one. It's really cute. I love it. Anyways, I keep it on my desk and I write my goals right on it. That way I sit down at my desk, at my workspace, getting ready to get productive. And the first thing I can always see it out of the corner of my eye. We've got some goals right there. And that's what we're going to work on. When I sit down at my desk with my coffee for my 15-minute plans, first thing in the morning, I see my goals and I know what I'm working on. So write those goals down. Next, ask yourself, how will this help you in the big picture? How is this goal? How is the goal of studying for 2 hours? Or how is the goal of writing a blog post? How is that helping you big picture? What is it working up to when you look at your big goals? When you look to where you want to be in 1 year, in 2 years, in 5 years? How does that play into what you're doing and what you want to do? So after that, we're going to make a plan to succeed. And I should say each of those 3 goals might be working towards a different big goal. They might be working towards the same one. This is all about you and your progress and your dream and vision for the future. So whatever those big goals are, they are with you. If you want to share them with me, you can pop them over in the comments, pop them down in the comments. If you're on the replay, you can pop them over into the chat, or if you are shy, but you still want to share, you can either email me or DM me on Instagram at Absolutely Studying. My contact information is in the description. So I would love to hear from you. Even if I've never heard from you before, I just be like, hello, I have a goal, please keep holding me accountable. And I would love to be your accountability partner. So now we're actually going to make a plan to succeed. So if your goal is not SMART, and that's an acronym, we're going to get to that. We're going to make it SMART. So how specific is your goal? Have it as specific as possible. What exactly is a check mark to you? Is it studying 2 hours Monday through Friday? Is it publishing a blog post? Is it finishing your term paper? What exactly? And finishing meaning it's submitted. What exactly is your goal as specific as possible? Next is measurable. So the thing with being as specific as possible is it's measurable. So it can either be a yes or a no. It's a yay or a nay. So if you finish your term paper but it's not submitted, you didn't finish. You got to get that submitted. If you only studied an hour and 45 minutes on, Tuesday, that's not necessarily a yay. So make sure that your goals are measurable. They are either a yes or a no. If it's something like getting 100 followers on Instagram, if you got 101, if you got 99. These things are all incredibly, incredibly helpful in making progress, because it's going to let us know if you accomplish it or not. And then when we go through next week and we decide why we didn't accomplish our goals and what stood in our way, we can then just tweak our plans and turn it into something that's a little bit more efficient or a little bit more productive, or help us to just get that last little step. A is achievable. Is this something that can be achieved in 1 week, given your unique circumstances? So by that, I mean your schedule, your obligations. If you do not have the time to invest in writing a term paper in a week, which can be really hard. We'll talk about that in another video. But if you haven't even started your term paper, writing a term paper in a week while juggling classes, while juggling study time is going to be really tough. It's going to give you a very stressful week. If you need to study for a test that you haven't started with, or if you need to get 100 followers on Instagram, that would be really, really tough because of how much time it takes to put into it. So is it achievable? If you set goals that are not achievable, then you are going to ultimately fail. And that's going to dampen your motivation, and you're not going to want to continue on with this goal setting process. And this goal setting process is so important because it's going to actually give you the steps necessary to achieve a goal, to achieve a dream, instead of just working towards it and not actually sure if you're making measurable progress. The next is realistic. So yes, you have 24 hours in a day. Can you actually devote 24 hours of your day to that project? Probably not. If it's not realistic, again, exact same thing. You are going to not hit those goals. You're going to fall back behind. You're going to have that pounding to your ego and to your motivation, and then it's going to make you even less likely to accomplish goals going forward. And so you want to make sure that it's realistic. If you know you cannot devote 5 hours to studying a day, then don't tell yourself you're going to do it, because first of all, you're going to stress yourself out. That's a grueling schedule. And second of all, if you don't do it, you're just going to beat yourself up next week. And finally, time sensitive. We have time sensitive. I'm going to be here holding you accountable next Friday. So we have 1 week. All of these goals are 1 week long. Now we have set SMART goals. Hopefully we have a nice list of 3 SMART goals that are going to help us towards our big picture. Next, we're going to create an achievable plan. So take those 3 goals and break them down into tasks that take you either 5 minutes to 15 minutes. So you can write a little time frame next to it. So if you are, let's take that term paper. So let's say you've not even opened the book. You've not even started the term paper. First 5 minutes, let's just do a brainstorm for a topic. Now, 5 minutes, we're going to review or maybe 10 minutes. We're going to review all of our brainstorm, all of our great big brain dump, and we're going to decide which 2 topics we are most interested in. After that, we're going to spend 15 minutes on each of those topics, just going down the Google rabbit hole to find out which one interests us most and which one we can find the most amount of information on. After that, we will spend maybe another 15 minutes going through and finding arguments. After that, we can spend another, you can see here how we're breaking up each individual task into a 5 to 15 minute block. For that one, you might decide you want to spend an hour to research either of each of those each of the arguments, and that's fine. But what we're doing is we're making this incredibly long list of these tiny little tasks that we can tick off and move on to, so that we can really have an actionable plan to get to the end of next week with as much of our energy conserved and our goals met. So write down a list for each of the 3. Maybe it's something simple like you are going to do, Pomodoro sessions twice a day for each day this week, or something like that. But just make a list of a whole bunch of steps that will help you to get that ultimate goal done, that you can break up over the week and take action on, so that when you have, an hour that you're supposed to be working, you can just look at your list and say, I want to do that item right there. It doesn't even have to be in order. Just that item right there. That's what I feel like doing. Let's go do it. So if you have not already, make sure you are hitting that like, subscribe, or if you are not already, hit that like button. Please subscribe. Like I said, I have a huge goal to hit 10K this year, and I don't know if that's achievable, but I guess we're gonna find out because I'm all in. I am all in on it, and I love it. So we have been streaming for a long time. I hope I still have you. Make sure that you do head down into the description so that you can grab the goal setting planner. If you don't have one this week, so you can have one for next week, then you can copy, or then you can follow along with me. I'm sorry I forgot to mention it today, but I am definitely going to remember. I'm going to put it in my show notes so that I can remember to hit it next week. If you want to know about any of my upcoming lives or events, head over to my website, www.absolutelystudying.com. I keep a schedule up for all of my lives on my events page. You can also see any of the member events for the Study Skills digital course. So if you are interested in that, again, head on over there. And I hope and wish you good luck and productivity for your goal setting this week. So until next time, I hope you have an amazing adventure.